Hi there. Today I'll be reviewing the 2006 Honda CRF250X. In this video I'll be talking about the bike itself and the ride me and my dad took that day. Let's start with the ride. Me and my dad were planning on a short little test drive for the 250X after swapping it for brand new Michelin dirt tires. I'm not going to talk about them specifically today because, I don't remember a lot from them. But anyways, the bike. This is a 2006 Honda CRF 250X. This is a bike that my dad helped me get, and it is an almost 99% replica of the bike that I first learned on. So I was pretty used to it, but it had been 2 years since I had ridden it, so of course I had to get used to it. But this one was in perfect condition. Well, I mean, as good as it gets. But this one was not road legal, so this that you're seeing right now is just edited. It's AI of me riding on pavement. But anyways, it wouldn't really matter because I was only taking this bike on trails like I am today. Now, our goal was, just something simple, but in this part of the video, as you can see, we're just riding around trying to find the trail that he took back in the day. Now, it was tricky, but we did find it in the end. A big part of the video is just us riding for a really long time, and in a short bit you'll see us get to a farm where we're just gonna ride in a circle and go back. It's a beautiful view, but we gotta find the actual trail. One thing to note is that the carb on this bike was a bit dirty, so it would not idle properly. I had to keep it going, so a lot of times in the video I'm starting the bike again and again and again. But here is where the real view and beauty of the place we were at really shines, because you can see the river and the mountains that we were going to explore. The terrain in front of us, the road, it was meh. It was not difficult, but not your typical gravel road. But nothing special. But the terrain was pretty consistent. It was just gravel, but here and there would be mud pits that you had to watch out for. But this part of the video is kind of boring. We're just riding for a very long time. I am gonna slow down the video for this little puddle that we just went by, because I can, and I will. It's something. But I'm gonna speed it up again because this is boring, just riding straight until, there's another puddle, and yeah, I am gonna slow down the video just for that little puddle, and you know why? Because I can. But I can't really classify this as a river, but there's a river that we have to ride across. But we spent a lot of the time looking for a good trail, and we had to go over rivers to find what we were looking for, but we didn't find it. Here we decided to take a little break, assess the situation. Here I'm telling him that it's actually idling, but that dream is shortly lived. As you can see, he's having trouble starting the bike, and that's because we swapped the clutch lever. No, we swapped the grips on the bike, but there wasn't a groove for the clutch lever to go all the way in, so it was always gripping. The clutch was always, yeah. This voiceover is difficult. But anyway, I decided to use the opportunity, and yeah, we'll just let's just skip this part real quick. I had to let one out real fast, and but this is not part of the video. We're riding a bike here and reviewing it. It's the bike couldn't hold idle, but it would start pretty easily. No troubles there, but maybe here and there it was a bit finicky. But this puddle, yeah, you're gonna watch me ride across a puddle, because I'm gonna make you watch it. Anyway, the bike, yeah, like I said, I swapped it for brand new Michelin tires. They performed very well, a lot of grip. Um, Nothing to complain about there. They were soft. I had around 14 psi in them. Yeah, in the back at least. Here I almost fell and put my foot in water. It was not nice, but I'm using CD boots. They're really good. I really love them. They're my favorite brand. Yeah, here you can see there are a lot of rivers, and they're pretty deep, but you know, nothing you can't manage. We're ranting about where we should go. And yeah, this was a deep part, but a short one. We are literally widowy going past these rivers back and forth, trying to find the trail. We ended up just trying to go back to find the trail because we think we've gone past it, if I recall. But this was actually a difficult part right here. It was a lot of stream, yeah, or current, yeah, current. Here are the muddy parts that where I just drove past, just went off the road. This is a pretty long road that went to just a fence. We just stopped here and he told me that it's completely closed, nothing to get past, so we ended up deciding to just return. He wants to take some pictures for so I can look at them in the future, look back at the moments. Yeah, this annoys me, but I'll understand it in the future. So here we're riding back, trying to find the trail. We do end up finding a little, yeah, a little trail that goes up towards the mountain. And this is where we start the climb. Here's mud and grass. There's a lot of grass and mud, but higher up there's more gravel. But yeah, I'm not talking about the bike enough. This bike is very nice. I started on a bike exactly like this one, and when I was a beginner, I thought 250 was way too much for me. I was like pondering whether I should really start on a bike this big. But it was actually no problem. It was very manageable, and you know, ya boys got it. But here's where we both stalled, because you know, we're just warming up. This is just a warm up. But you know, the bike, it also, there's really nothing to complain about. It rides very, very well. The engine is very smooth. Um, One thing to note is it has, you know, small oil capacity, around 600 to 700 milliliters. I would like to, you know, have more just for reliability reasons, but it's performance and I guess less maintenance cost, but at the same time higher because you have to change the oil more often. Here's where the narrow trail started, and this was the easy part, going down and up. And if you'll notice here, this is the moment where I passed my dad, which was significant for me at least, because you know, you boys got it. But yeah, I've seen another review where they said this bike does not have a lot of torque, but here I really chugged it in second gear and I had no problems. This has more torque than you would expect compared to something like the 250R. That's motocross version. This one has a heavier flywheel. This one has a single cam. I don't know if the R has two cams. But yeah, this is the Enduro version of the 250. Here I actually make it up and I'm waiting for my dad. This is where we decide to, you know, stop because the day has passed and we're really happy we got up there. I just got it in a single run, didn't stop or anything, which was awesome. Took some pictures and I sent a video to my friends, you know, showing off, but not really much. Well, warming up my hands. This bike is surprisingly fuel efficient. I filled it up when we started and I could still see the top very well, and there was not a lot of fuel missing. This is more fuel efficient than you would think, and you know, enough for an entire day's riding. But I do still want maybe in the future to add a bigger tank, an IMS, mainly, well, yeah, for the looks and of course better range. You know, you never know. But the suspension is a Showa. It's a very good plush. Um, the engine, the frame is aluminum. It's got single disc brakes front and back. Um, Here we're just returning back to the van because we just called it a day. And also in the video there's a lot of wind, so you might be thinking to yourself like, oh, why are you driving in such bad weather? Like, are you driving in a blizzard or something? Well, no, I live in one. But that's not the point. Um, Here, I don't know if the video shows it or you can hear in the video, but there's this sound and it reminds me of past times when I've blown motors. And I was really scared this was just going to happen because the first bike I had, 250x also, I blew the motor because I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, here I'm checking if there is oil, and it's hard to see because I have goggles on with, but let's see. We have oil. We have oil, so we're in we're in good hands. So, but here I'm looking for rocks in the engine that might be rattling and making that sound, but I'm not noticing anything right off the bat. But because I have oil, I just decide, you know, fuck it. I'll just continue riding, and if anything bad happens, there's nothing I could have done to predict it or prevent it. But like I said, the previous bike I had, that one, that one I did blow the motor in. It was not a good day. I was really disappointed, which is why, you know, I'm happy to be back on this bike. It's a really good one. It's a great beginner's bike, and it's really all you need. You don't really need more than this bike. It's a good beginner's bike. It's great for everyone. There is no big reason to get a bigger bike than this, other than you just want more power. But anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. So thank you for watching. If you do have any questions, just put them in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching. Do whatever you want. Go ride.